What are the best Town Hall 11 attack strategies, you ask? In this video, we will be looking at the top 5, teach you how to use them in the current meta, starting right now. Starting things out, we have the miners. Now the miners weren't changed within the most recent balance update, and hence that sees it kicking things off here at number 5 as we move up through the strategies towards the best Town Hall 11 strategy. You will see that many of the strategies were affected in the balance changes. If you're new to the channel here, guys, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on daily, educational but entertaining Clash of Clans videos. For the miners, the first defense, the main defense that you should be looking at is the Eagle Artillery. The Queen is currently taking that down. You either need to take that down with your initial push, or your miners should be taking that down relatively early on. You will see a running theme as we go through the video with regards to that. Pathing is the main thing for your miners. So as we zoom out, this right hand side of the base is getting taken out by our attacking queen. The king is going to come down the left hand side, also will be attracting the enemy king in order to take that out, because miners can be pathed away as they will attack heroes. That's a good thing. They are going to take out the enemy queen in this situation, so you don't have to worry about her. Miners can take it, but look at the pathing here. As we draw a line of what is left, the miners come into the base. They're coming straight towards the defenses there, and they will take them down with ease when you can control their pathing. In terms of spell placements, you don't really need rage spells, but if you have one left over from your queen charge, use it in an area where the miners are going to take a lot of damage and or there are high HP buildings. With heal spells, which is your main spells for miners, you want to spread them across the base. Notice where the heal spells are now. You do not want to overlap them, and you want to try and use the heal spells in areas where you have splash damage. That is where they are most vulnerable, because with miners, you're going to have a good chunk of them coming through the base. The splash is where they will take the most damage. Once you have the pathing for the miners, it's pretty straightforward. They'll come through the base and they will crush it. So for the miners, in summary, before we move to the next strategy, Eagle Artillery should be high on your list. You've got to create pathing for them on one side, but also think about the other side. The king is the main troop that you will do that with, and then use your heal spells wisely in areas of splash. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm actually putting the Hog Riders as attack strategy number 4. Now, as ever with all of these styles of videos where we do the top 5s, the best strategies, and update you guys on the meta because you guys like that, be sure to let me know yours down in the comments. What would your top 5 be? For the Hog Riders, we've seen the Sui Mass Hogs at Town Hall 12. It works at Town Hall 11. You want to be taking out similar principles. Pathing of the base, queen, king, beautiful stuff. So in this one, a slammer able to come straight in, takes out the enemy queen and also lures them clan castle troops. Notice over here we have the enemy king, so also able to go down alongside the town hall. It's not like at Town Hall 12 where you have to deal with the Giga Bomb, but it's always nice to take it down early on. Then look at pathing for the Hog Riders. They're actually going to be drawn initially down this left hand side of the base before they loop up and around. The Eagle Artillery, similar to the miners, does want to be one of the defenses that with the Hog Riders, it should be on that initial push. You shouldn't be waiting until the end of the base in order to take out the Eagle Artillery. So in order to get the Hog Riders to it, have to come in from different angles to then clump the hogs over this area. Similarly, that will allow you to use your heal spells wisely if you can control their pathing, and exactly the same as the miners, they should be used in areas of splash. Now guys, each of the attacks you see in this video are by the very impressive impressive toxic rabbits. If you are interested in joining us, be sure to join my Discord server. It's linked down in the description of this video. We recruit maxed out 10, 11 and 12 players. All of the attacks in this video actually were from our MLCW victory over Clash Pub, a very convincing one as well, so congrats to the guys at Toxic Rabbits. Finishing off the Hog Rider attacks, you see the cleanup troops around the base, which is very important. Notice the minion coming into the center as well. A miner is also good for this if there's any trash buildings, because Hog Riders have to take out everything before they get to it. So in summary for Hog Riders, and there's a number of ways to do it, the Queen must be a priority on your list alongside the Clan Castle troops. You have to make sure they have pathing, similar to the miners. Heal spells are used just the same as well over splash damages, but make sure the Eagle Artillery, if you're not taking it down with that initial push, is on the initial pathing for your Hog Riders, otherwise it will do major damage against them. Let me tell you, in this war, we had so many Town Hall 11 3-star attacks, and one of the most impressive by Toxic Rabbits, which was used again and again, was the Pekka Robot. That's why it comes in at number 3 on our list. Now, you've got to create the funnel either side. Very successfully in this attack, it is done with an Electro Dragon. That chain value, especially if it can chain into the base, does a brilliant job. However, a Queen Walk can also be good, because you do want the healers and the Queen to come into the base with your push. Now, you've got to think about cutting the funnel off at the other side. You are going to have numerous Pekka, so it's often good to do that. Whether they come in with the kill squad or whether they walk down the outside, it really doesn't matter. One Pekka is not going to be the end of the world. It can sometimes be good to walk off because it controls the pathing of the bowlers. Now, the Wall Wrecker is going to be your main siege machine. Use that Grand Warden's ability early on, because you do want to not take fire of the Eagle Artillery. You want to try and protect your bowlers. The Pekka should give you access through the base, but it does depend on the design. You might need a jump spell. Be patient on the bat spells. Wait until you know their pathing. You want them to come around the outside of the base, and on this situation, we only have a multi and a wizard tower to deal with. Make sure you're using the freeze spells early on. You do not want to give the splash a single shot onto your bats. So 3 needed in this one, 2 for the multi, 1 for the wizard tower, and the bats can remain in one group. They're not splitting off into numerous defenses. They actually had one straight path around the base, so they can stay together and have the momentum they need to get through the defenses brilliantly. That is what you need to try and do with the Pekka Bobat. Get as much splash damage as you can. If you can create pathing and a thin line of defenses where you can then bring the bats, you can often bring them over the other side of the base to then merge in. Just make sure that you have some cleanup troops as well. Look at the wizards over here behind the bats, because the bats only take out defenses, so you've got to have something to clean out them buildings as well, because sometimes you can be waiting a long time for your Pekka and Bowler to get through the base before you then deploy the bats. You do not want to run out on time. In the end though, you should be able to take out numerous base designs with this strategy, and it's pretty solid, especially for clan war leagues as well, because it should be a comfortable 2 and potentially that 3-star strategy. You guys know me, and you know that in recent times the Lalo has been top of my list for a lot of Town Hall levels. However, watching Toxic Rabbits use the next attack in this war, I've actually pipped it to the post. I've put it number 1 because of the changes it had in the balance update, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you do want to see more Town Hall 11 attacks, I'm going to send you across to a very impressive video after this one. We come in at number 2 with the Lava Loon. There's numerous different ways, but this base was crushed with the YOLO Throne. So the kill squad in this attack uses a couple of Electro Dragons alongside the siege machine and cloning an area to take down the Queen. Multiple splash buildings and the Eagle Artillery are the buildings that you want to take down. Look at what is left over on this base. This entire bottom section of the base goes down to the Electro Dragons and the Clone Spell. The Queen able to come around this other side and continue creating pathing. We now just have this top area for the Lalo. So this is more of a simplistic finish now with the Lava Loon. There's not a lot to worry about. The pathing is easy for the balloons. We have the Hounds in initially in order to tank over the air defenses, and again the Grand Warden's ability, you can use it wherever you want at this point, but try to encompass as many balloons as possible, and you do want to try and help to provide the invincibility over splash damages. Do consider where your troops will end up in the back end of the base. I do think that in this case Classico was thinking that the Queen would take down this wizard tower, but the base was crushed so much. And by the way guys, he got a 6-pack with Lalo, so be sure to leave a like for him in this video. Boom, Lava Loon gets the job done. It always does guys, but do think about that cleanup as well. You can run out of time, so a couple of minions does tend to be the best option. You should have set off any air traps with the balloons, so the minions should be pretty free from that regard. Ground troops obviously could be susceptible to spring traps and bombs. That then just leaves us one attack strategy. It's not the Lalo, it's not the Hogs. What do you guys think it is going to be? Well, we're going to reveal all for the best Town Hall 11 attack strategy right now. Let's go ahead and let's move on to that attack as the Lalo wraps things up at number 2. Again, there was numerous Town Hall 11 3-stars here, and the dragons were used so impressively by toxic rabbits. Remember, in the most recent balance changes, dragons got a buff. At Town Hall 10 and 11, so level 5 and 6, they got a 100 HP buff and a 300 at Town Hall 12, level 7, and they come in at number 1. There's a few variations you can use. You can use the Queen Walk or the Queen Charge into dragons, the lightning spells, but probably the most popular is the Drag Bat. You want to be trying to take out splash as best as possible with the dragons and using the bats in an area where there's not as much splash, but you're also creating pathing for the dragons. So we have our Queen walking up the right hand side. That's a brilliant way to funnel this area. Bring the Slammer in. I think we wanted this up towards the Wizard Tower and the Eagle, but it doesn't matter because the bats can now be used on the Wizard Tower. With that freeze, they take out the Eagle early on, and look at the pathing this creates for the dragons. If we draw again, they are just going to be able to come straight through this area of the base, focus their fire on defenses, and that is the main thing that you have to do with dragons. If they start steering off into numerous directions, you're not going to get a 3-star. With dragons, they're very powerful, but you've got to narrow the base, you've got to allow the dragons to come through. So the bats can be used incredibly well in areas where there's no splash, and try and use them to take out air defense, archer towers, expos, potentially single target infernos, anything which is going to be dangerous for the dragons. If you don't need all of the freeze spells, they're very transferable in this situation, saving it for the air defense because that will help the dragons. And look at how many is left over at the end of this attack. If you can create pathing for your dragons, they are going to take down bases, and actually without the 3rd Inferno and without the Giga Tesla, they do incredibly well at Town Hall 11, and they are the #1 strategy right now in my opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments, and we have more Town Hall 11 attacks on my Town Hall 11 attacks playlist. However guys, we have a fantastic video here for Town Hall 11s that you should check out. That wraps it up for this one though guys. Go ahead and watch that video. It is pretty awesome. Until next time, peace out.